Okay, what is up? So I'll try this again. I just tried recording a video and my phone fell out of the holder, which it seems to have a tendency to do, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time, because I don't want to, sonically slay my fucking listeners by having them, fucking casually listening along with headphones and then just hear a massive ka-thunk. But it's weird. I've been making a lot of videos, but I've just been scrapping them because there's just one imperfection or another that I'll come across when reviewing the video before uploading it, and I just don't want to give the wrong idea. I want to provide you guys with some decent content, as far as my content goes anyways. Not saying I at all meet any standard for professional criteria or what have you, but I want to, within the parameters of what I can do, I want to do that to the best of my ability and not misrepresent myself or any ideas that I am trying to convey. So on that note, politics. Who doesn't love politics in this day and age? God, man, I have immense sympathy for my friends in the States. Must be a fucking terrifying time to be alive. I mean, especially if you live in one of these, blue cities that are, now rife with fucking military members goose-stepping their way through your city like it's fucking a training ground, which is literally what Trump and HHS said they wanted to happen when they did that strategically retarded move of pulling all the major generals out of their command posts from around the world and brought them all together in the same room, where good thing there wasn't a briefcase full of Semitex. Fucking could have just completely fucking taken out all the key fucking generals that the states would need to facilitate any real operational changes to their, fucking massive military industrial complex. Holy Moses. And for what? To tell them, girls shouldn't be in the army, and fucking people gotta practice good fucking hygiene and no beards, and woke shit is fucking woke, go broke, we're gonna be using these Democrat cities to train and blah 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 blah. And I really respect that the generals did not respond with any permissive or celebratory behavior, but at the same time I think they respond in a fairly tacit way to most events they participate in, because being in the military is all about having discipline and acting in accordance with military doctrine, so composure, being kind of solid, silent, but strong type of individual. I don't know. But I remember Trump was quite mad, going, I've never walked into a room so silent. And then he basically threatened their jobs, maybe next time you won't be here because, you know, you won't have a job, and like, holy cow, like, you know, dictator behavior. And that is only one fucking small fucking hair in a soup that is mostly hair now. Mostly hair and flies in the soup that is the country of the United States. You know, like, Trump's fucking wiped his ass with the Constitution, you know, and it'll be interesting to see if the world makes it to him being able to have a third term, if he will demonstrate definitively, you know, his policy of rules for me and not for thee. Because, you know, Obama, who has been, you know, really unfairly snubbed, you know, in one of Trump's many fucking attempts to get people to stop talking about the fucking Epstein files. You know, he wanted Trump wanted Obama investigated and everything, and he wanted him in handcuffs and fucking put in jail. This was like his wet fucking dream. Like, he made an AI video of that happening. But, you know, Obama said, like, oh, if we're doing third terms, then hey, I'm gonna run. And yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what would happen there. But, you know, at the same time, I don't think we would make it to a third term at this rate. And, you know, I get it. I'm a Canadian. I'm not an American. But here's the thing. My country's, like, doing all right, given the fact that the States would like almost nothing more than for us to fail. You know, like, Trump fucking completely reneged on the business meetings that he had with Carney. And look, I'm no fan of Carney. I didn't vote for the Liberals, you know, like, but, you know, he's been doing a good job of setting up new alliances with people who are not the U.S., but at the same time, you know, it just makes sense that we're trading partners with the U.S. I mean, it really does. We're right next door to each other. We both have, you know, a huge amount of resources that are valuable to the major businesses that we respectively run. But, you know, just too much disrespect, too much, you know, of the basically, like, going to shake your hand and then, psych, you know, oh yeah, I'll quash the tariffs. Oh, you put out an ad of Ronald Reagan speaking, like, in a way that is unadulterated. You know, you could argue that it's taken out of context, but Reagan is clearly saying that tariffs are a lose-lose game because they are. I mean, both countries have to pay for tariffs. But Trump went, no, that's AI, and so fuck you, Canada, and then jacked the tariffs up again. And now, you know what? People are starting to taste that reality, that tariffs are a lose-lose game. And yeah, I mean, fuck, like, everyone is suffering because of this. It's really unfortunate. But like I said, Canada's like, you know, we're doing all right, given the state of things. But yeah, it's really crazy watching what's happening to the U.S. I mean, it is like watching the fall of the Roman fucking Empire, you know, like, you know, the British Empire kind of toppled, but that was a long time ago. That was around, you know, the Thatcher administration, you know, that was far before I was even born. But yeah, I mean, it is really fucking surreal. I mean, like, I imagine the most apt comparison would be the Soviet. What happened to Russia after the fall of the Soviet Union? You know, the Iron Curtain, you know, came cascading down, and what happened? Well, suddenly, you know, there were all these oligarchs, just, you know, billionaire here, billionaire there, but the majority of people were fucking poor as fuck. And you know what? The ruling class doesn't care. And it's really a shame, because this is Curtis fucking Yarvin, Grand Poobah of the fucking, you know, the neoconservative movement, getting what he wanted and then some, which is basically to infiltrate all houses of power in the U.S. and to replace every single person who even mildly disagrees with you know, modern conservative values, and replacing them and doing it from the inside like some sort of subterfuge, some sort of, you know, almost espionage against, you know, democracy, because democracy is about having a voice for everyone on the spectrum and taking care of everyone regardless of what they believe or where they're from. You know, if they're, as long as they're a citizen, they should be treated with, you know, a modicum of respect and justice that is not unequal compared to, you know, someone who maybe has ideals that are more in line with the ruling party, which is unfortunately, that is exactly the iniquity that is befallen the U.S. from what I can tell. And you know, like the tech bros, the fucking people funding these data centers that are, you know, forcing local residents to pay for it, despite the fact that all these data centers are doing, are diminishing the natural resources of those areas. You know, data centers require a ton of water, for example, to cool down the hard drives or whatever. And these data centers are doing nothing for society except for finding out new ways that AI can fucking take more and more jobs away from people who work their whole lives, you know, getting them. It's like the fucking learn to code meme, except for everyone did learn to code, and now AI is taking your job if you're a coder, so what? You know, back to the fucking coal mines for you? Well, that would make sense, because Trump seems to want everyone to use coal for some reason, and wants to make that the standard fucking for energy, because, hey, you know, climate change, especially man-made climate change, is a fucking joke. It's a crock of shit. It's a Democrat hoax, blah, blah, fucking blah. It's not like you can literally see the adverse effects that humans have on the planet with your own two eyes. No, fucking God created the planet for us, therefore we can completely desecrate it and run amok and fucking rape and pillage it as much as we fucking want. Like, it's unbelievable. And, it seems like Trump lashes out whenever the Epstein files come back up. He lashes out at Canada, or he lashes out at another country. Like, now he's fucking lashing out at the BBC, because the BBC did what most documentaries do. They did a documentary on January 6th where fucking Trump's like hour-plus long rambling speech that I have watched after it happened, and very much incited violence, you know, like this was off the fucking heels of the Stop the Steal movement, where Trump was, I don't think he was convinced that there was a rigged election, but he wanted to convince his fucking voters that there was. And so, you know, he basically, you know, said, let's go to the steps of the White House, fucking show them that we, mean business and that we're not going to take it anymore, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but to that effect, like, he very much was guilty of inciting that riot. Whether it was a genuine attempt at a coup or not, that's really up for debate. I don't think it was, because for one, it was such a slot. Like, it was like the equivalent of like the Stanley Cup riots we had in Vancouver here. Just complete fucking irrational savagery instigated by fucking idiots. But it wasn't meant to be a coup attempt. It was meant to be a threat. It was meant to strike fear into those who opposed Trump and his fucking, consigliaries, his fucking lieutenants and, friends and foes, and pedophilia and whatnot, because, he seems to really like protecting pedophiles. Like, not only has he pardoned the January 6ers who racked up charges for, like brutalizing the police, who dared try stop them, who fucking trashed, government monuments and, all these things that could be easily construed as a coup, but he wanted to send a message that if you do political violence for me, I will have your back. And a lot of the people he bailed out of jail also had charges for, like, raping children. But that doesn't seem to bother him now much, does it? Like, he sent his lawyer to go talk to fucking Ghislaine Maxwell, who he was considering pardoning when he was first in office. And when he was first in office, he was trying to get his bud Jeffrey Epstein in office with him, even though he said that they weren't friends for a long time. And they did have a bit of a dust-up, because Trump was sick of Epstein fucking poaching women from his spa to fucking pimp out to his buddies around the world. But, it's not like he put his foot down after the first time. It seems like it took many, many, many times of that happening for him to do anything at all. It's just disgusting, absolutely repugnant. Anyways, in a bid to really continue downplaying the whole, Epstein wasn't trafficking children to anyone, he was just a perverted old man, and all those discs he had, they were just pornos, because he was just an old gooner. He was going with that narrative for a long time. And so he goes to Ghislaine, someone who has perjured herself on the stand when asked if Epstein was, engaging in, underage prostitutes. She said no, and that was, proven to be wrong when Epstein got his sweetheart deal after being shown to have raped 150 underage girls. I think most of them are underage, but still, raping 150 girls and then only being charged for, I think, one of them, hence the term sweetheart deal. But, Trump got his lawyer to go talk to Ghislaine, who was charged legally again for lying on the stand. And she said, oh yeah, Trump who? Yeah, that Trump, yeah, I never saw him. Yeah. Let's stick to that story. Now she's set a precedent which was never before set, which is that a sex offender is in such a low security prison, not to mention a sex offender who was given, I think, 27 years, hard time, meant to be spent in tough facilities, not facilities that let you do fucking hot yoga, let you fucking have therapy animals and so forth. Luckily, the organization that provided the therapy animals refused her to have a fucking puppy in prison, which, thank you to them. I'm glad someone fucking cares. Jesus, like, it really is fucking unreal what's going on. And, like, when they asked Trump, would you pardon Ghislaine, whatever, he said, I could, if I wanted to, I could, but then he fucking, and then he was like, I hear that guy Puff Daddy, something like that, he wanted a pardon too, maybe I'll consider that as well. Well, somehow Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, Diddy fucking somehow managed to skirt a majority of charges. You could say he got a sweetheart deal. And I believe it was the same prosecuting attorney in the Diddy case that prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein and or no, I think that was Comey who maybe I'm just getting my facts mixed up. Comey, I think, was the one who prosecuted Epstein, which to me is why Trump indicted Comey, because, that fucking brought a lot of heat, obviously, to Trump, because they were best friends for like 25 years or something. And, look up if you don't believe me, look up the fucking Epstein birthday book. It is one of the most disturbing and deliberately deliberate acts on behalf of Trump, showing that he was more than just pals with old Epstein. I mean, he fucking authored like a third of the book, and there's a picture of Epstein at one point. He's fucking holding a check for a depreciated woman from Donald Trump. It is outrageous. It is beyond damning. And fucking Trump is claiming that is all forgery, lies, and even though Clinton's in the book, Dershowitz is in the book, like there's all sorts of big players. And Trump keeps going, oh well, why do you guys want this? Why do you fucking Democrats want this? Fucking Bill Clinton would go down. Bill Clinton would go down. You know what? Good. Fuck Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are two of the most evil people on the planet. Like, you don't believe me? Look up the body count, the Clinton body count. It's like 36 people who have, suicided themselves or died in very mysterious accidents that left them all beheaded for some reason. And like, there's the boys on the tracks, which was a really famous unsolved case in Arkansas. What happened when Bill Clinton was governor? Two teenage boys who were spotlighting, which is basically one would hold the flashlight, another would hold a rifle, and they would one would light up the deer and the other would shoot it, and they were doing this at night, and they presumably saw a CIA-backed cocaine drop, and this was being handled by the CIA and the Arkansas mob, which are very violent, I think, subgroup of the Dixie Mafia, somehow everyone involved in that case died. But that's, a completely different rabbit hole. I'd be happy to talk about it sometime, but, I don't want to completely digress from the sins of the man who's leading your fucking country and who is destroying it for all the people there. And it's crazy watching how the cultural paradigm is changing. The zeitgeist is starting to reflect more and more right-leaning beliefs, because Trump has basically, threatened anything that challenges him journalistically or whatever with libel, or he just straight up cuts the funding, threatens the license to operate under the FAA for various companies when there is anything that is, pejorative to him, whether grounded or not. Like his newest attempt to divert people's attention from the Epstein files is the fucking, there's an attempt to sue the BBC for $1 billion, which I was just talking about. But yeah, like, it's because they only showed various edits from his speech, which, like I was saying, you can't play the whole fucking hour something long speech in a documentary that is probably an hour and a half long in itself. It does not make any fucking sense. And so now he's got this GB News fucking that just, is, he says it's a free speech it's a free speech platform, but it's really a fucking, it's a very Orwellian, it's run by these very posh British panelists, and they all just fucking, will take whatever shit the right fucking craps out, and they will lick that plate clean. They will lick Trump's plate clean. And so he's, he has this tendency to instigate very fucking frivolous lawsuits. And then, it's like the South Park episode, very effectively satirized, where, he never actually attends any of them. He never actually carries any of them through. But what he'll do is he'll allow people to settle for a reduced price. Like the South Park episode, he's saying we only have to pay $3.5 million and we have to do a pro-Trump advertisement. That's reasonable. Yeah, that's reasonable. He builds the cage, and then by giving you a little bit of wiggle room, you start to think, this individual is a nice guy, because he's taking away, or he's giving a little bit of the freedom back that he took away. It's what happens when you take people and you force them into desperate straits, and they are looking for any room to breathe that they can possibly find. Yeah, it's really fucking crazy, man. And also the fact that he has the gall to say that anything is a free speech network. He is waging a war on free speech that makes the fucking blue-haired fucking feminist fucking propagator of liberal tears and such that Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder would milk out of these college students, or Charlie Kirk would milk out of these college students. He makes them look tame. It's illegal now, basically. And I'm being hyperbolic. I don't think it actually is legal to say anything negative about Charlie Kirk, but I think it might as well be, because he's ensuring that if you have ever said anything negative about him on social media, your entry to the States can be denied, you can lose your job, and oftentimes these are people just quoting Kirk. Like, it's outrageous. I mean, like, I gotta say, I don't think it was a good thing that Kirk got shot. It, you know, like it shows how much people want a civil war. Like, they immediately, the White House immediately jumps the gun and goes, oh, the radical left, this is why we need to be afraid of the radical left. Which, you know, you gotta keep in mind, they don't actually believe this stuff. They are saying it because they're tech backers, like, you know, fucking the Palantir guy, Peter Thiel, he's fucking J.D. Vance's mentor. You know, like, how do you think that guy got fucking popular? It wasn't because Trump just decided to pick him out of the fucking, you know, barrel of rotten apples. No, it's because he had fucking powerful backers in Palantir who are, you know, like, funding worldwide fucking carnage. And, you know, the Peter Thiel is obsessed with the Antichrist, like, to a scary fucking degree. And, Trump is fucking basically like a puppet for his backer. What's his name? Larry something. I fucking forget his name. But if you look up the shadowy man behind Donald Trump, then, you know, you'll find who I'm talking about. Yeah, fucking, you know, they make money off of people fighting, so they want there to be an entrenched division. And the thing is, you know, like like, you know, I do not like the left or the right wing. I do say, you know, I will readily confess to, you know, resonating more with left-wing values than right-wing values. But, you know, I don't like liberals, I don't like Republicans or conservatives, I don't like the Democrats. You know, they're for a number of reasons, and I've always found the polarized nature of politics, or just any, like, real belief system that is, you know, so prone to being contentious, to be like a stupid thing to get voraciously fucking pissed off about. But you know, since the Democrats aren't really, you know, like, they're not really biting, and they're not really fucking you know, responding in contentious ways to these, you know, flagrant fucking attempts to pigeonhole them as, like, deranged lunatics. You know, the right is now starting to turn on itself. You know, like, you know, Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson are going against Shapiro, and Shapiro's going against Candace Owens, and, like, it's all falling apart because for some reason why these people want to fight. And, you know, I don't think all people who voted MAGA are bad. I'm sure a lot of them were, you know, like, fairly decent working folk who were just tired of everything being unaffordable, and tired of, you know, hearing about how so many people were, you know, getting food stamps and unemployment and all this stuff for doing nothing. And meanwhile, you know, they're fucking mining coal like 11 hours a day, and then having to fucking retire young because they got a black lung or whatever. And so, you know, they hear this party saying, we care about you, we care about the working man, you know. And, you know, because people tend to, you know, listen with their own biases in mind. You know, like, I want my community taken care of. I'm a minority no one talks about. Why does no one talk about me? I'm fucking working my ass off and can barely support my family. And so they, you know, hear just enough to make them want to vote for this guy. And, you know, now there's an incredible amount of remorse because of that. And, they're finding out the hard way that politicians have a tendency to fucking lie. Both sides out of both sides of their face. It's really unfortunate. And, I'm kind of scared for what's going to happen at the end of Trump's term, because he has basically, like I said, he's been carrying out this very silent fly-by-night sort of coup where he's just replacing Senate seats and probably trying with Congress to get as many people who are obsequious to him, who fucking will kneel and kiss his feet, suck his prick, lick his fucking ass clean. He wants people who are ride or diers, and he is somehow getting them all in place. I don't know if the government shutdown's still going on, but holy fuck, I remember the last government shutdown in the States, and it was a legitimate shutdown. It wasn't just, we don't want immigrants getting medical care on our dime. We can't even get medical care, but don't think about that too much. Fuck you, bye. And then, while that's happening, they cut fucking SNAP, the food stamp program, which I think something like 60% of the people on it were people who work for a living and, had fallen on hard times and needed to eat until they could work again. So they cut the food stamp programs, they've cut Medicaid, they fucking, the slash cancer research, and, Elon Musk is a fucking trillionaire now. And, these people have, Bezos, Trump, fucking Vance, Peter Thiel, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. I think I may have said Bezos already, but, it doesn't hurt to say it again. They made $7 trillion fucking since this government shutdown, since Trump's inauguration for this latest term. And, the country is in a fucking recession. It's bloody insane, man. If Elon Musk cared so much about the States, he would bail it out himself. And now they're talking about putting him in charge of NASA? What the fuck, man? And Trump would carry on and on and on about I am the peace president, I have fucking stopped 8 wars, which which ones? He said he created peace in the Middle East, which no you didn't. No, you definitely didn't. You brokered this bullshit fucking deal with Bibi fucking Netanyahu, and you did it because you want to open up a fucking resort in Gaza once they have finished their final solution, and they have either killed all the Palestinians or they have fucking moved them to fucking exiled them into camps in fucking Sudan or other parts of Africa. Is Sudan a part of Africa or part of the Middle East? I'm not sure. But some of the other countries that they were talking about sending the Palestinians to were in Africa. And since that's happened, Israel has been on the sly recruiting fucking former ISIS cells to go into Palestine and just start fucking running amok. So they go, look at that, fucking jihadi Islamic extremists, fucking, we can bomb them again. And they have bombed fucking Palestine numerous times since this peace deal. It's like it's a one-sided fucking joke. And, you know, Trump fucking, on Remembrance Day of all days, brought a former Al-Qaeda member, now fucking basically useful idiot fucking puppet leader for Syria. But this guy had a $10 million bounty on his head from the FBI, probably NATO as well, because he killed U.S. soldiers. Like, you know, like, this has got to be insanely fucking insulting to the veterans of the states, you know, like, and, you know, he's trying to start this fucking war with Venezuela because Venezuela fucking has a fuckload of oil. Okay. Sorry, just give me a second. But, you know what I mean? Like, the warmongering is fucking unreal. Like, they're blowing up these fishing boats, which they're alleging are, you know, like, what's the gang that Trend de l'Aqua or something, which, you know, I remember all the fucking propaganda that came out about them, like, a little under a year ago. You know, this is the most dangerous Latin gang that is fucking, they'll be in your city soon, and, you know, these fishing boats are fucking, more often than not, like, Haitian dudes or fucking Colombian dudes, and, they know exactly what they're doing. Like, they are fucking bombing them in a part of the ocean that is, I think, the least regulated part of the world when it comes to fucking... God damn it. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I don't want to fucking record another fucking... another tape here. So, I am fucking just going to keep going, and I will fucking put in the description that there's a loud fucking noise at basically 43 minutes. God damn it. I feel like the universe is trying to tell me something, maybe. Okay, I hope this doesn't fall out again. I hope it doesn't. And this will all be for naught. But, yeah, I mean, they're saying they had intel that these boats were fucking carrying drugs, but they have never released that. They've never given a shred of evidence to the public on that. Like this regime is insane. And, you know, like, I feel like it would be a travesty if they managed to continually get away with these crimes against humanity that they're perpetrating. And they're perpetrating against their own people. Like, you know, whatever happened to fucking, you know, the American dream, whatever happened to, making America great again, which I assume is in reference to the post recession years where people finally started making money and were able to support each other or support themselves, and then paid taxes and were satisfied with what their taxes were getting them, because their taxes were building roads and schools. And this was before the Red Scare, so there was little to no correlation between social services and communism or socialism or whatever the fuck fodder is being spouted by fucking right-wing zealots. Social democracy is key to democracy. That social element is key to democracy. If you stop paying taxes altogether and you don't want the government to do anything for you, then you're basically a libertarian. And it's interesting that all these big tech executives claim to be libertarians because hydroplaning. They claim to be fucking libertarians because, yeah, of course they don't need fucking government subsidized fucking schools and hospitals and stuff. They fucking probably have all those things, a private doctor, everything, in every one of their fucking mansions or villas or whatever. And I don't get it. At this point, these people are so fucking rich that they're just stockpiling money now. And what good is that? It's definitely not good for the fucking economy. Reaganomics really ruined conservatism because, it popularized the whole, trickle-down economics notion, which, I always like to joke is basically the rich pissing down on you if they're nice enough to do so. Because it really is. I mean, Reagan said that, if there's less taxes on CEOs and stuff like that, then they have more money to spend on hiring people and the like. And it's that is putting a lot of faith in, the intent of fucking, very powerful people who have learned to value profits over, everything else. The whole, Gordon Gekko greed is good mentality. Yeah, it's bloody insane, there used to be fucking, preventative measures in place so world leaders, particularly in the United States, could not profit off of their fucking, their position of power. Because they shouldn't, that is a conflict of interest, It's a huge conflict of interest. What's his name? Jimmy fucking, it's fucking, Jimmy Carter. He had to sell his fucking pea farm because, it's either peas or peanuts, I can't remember. But, because they thought he can, launder money through this business, based on, the various, things he'll be signing, as executive orders or what have you. There's just too many ways in which that position can be used, in a corrupt fashion, which, we are seeing the most evident and shameless example of today. I mean, Trump skirted so many fucking legal charges by becoming president. That was his Hail Mary. That's why, I think that Thomas Crook's fucking assassination attempt, I think, he was probably put up to that. And to a lesser extent, I think the same thing may have happened with the Charlie Kirk shooter. Because, did you see how Trump reacted to to fucking Charlie Kirk getting shot, he was like, oh, that's terrible. Oh yeah, but look at the work we've been doing on the ballroom here. My God, him in that fucking ballroom, like, it reminds me of, like, I don't know if you've seen Citizen Kane, but it's like, it's inspired by, that guy, George Hurst or whatever, who, he made a fortune, I think he either made a fortune in trains and then newspapers, or something like that. But Citizen Kane is like about this guy Charles Foster Kane, who is a young fucking chipper, enthusiastic, fucking eccentric businessman who wants to become, this nationally syndicated proprietor of a newspaper. And then he gets what he wants and more, but then he neglects what he has, and he builds this massive monument to his ego called Xanadu. And it's this huge building that is like very lavish but empty, and it's hollow, like he becomes as he ages. And he just kind of spends his days wandering around doing nothing in this castle. And that's what the Trump ballroom reminds me of. It's like this incarnation of his just nothingness. The fact that he is just really an uninteresting, if anything, repulsive person who is empty inside. And like, it doesn't matter what decadence he tries to fill it with. He can't fill it, no matter how hard he tries, because he is fundamentally just vapid and boring, and not really a contrarian fucking icon. He just does the bidding of the people that pay him behind the scenes. Like, he has made billions and billions of dollars since he's been in office. I mean, he's been shilling pump and dump coins. He's been I don't know if anyone's actually paid for this. I sure hope not. But he said people could become U.S. citizens if they pay $5 million or something like that. It's unfortunate. Just the state of things, and the ICE Gestapo's out, fucking just completely like hawking a loogie on the notion of due process. Like, fucking rolling up with masks, there's no, can I see your badge number? Can I get your name? Can I get your superior's name? It's like, no, we are kidnapping you whether you like it or not. We will beat the shit out of you whether you like it or not. We will send you to a modern day fucking concentration camp whether you like it or not. Like the whole alligator Alcatraz thing is just like such an affront to fucking, to humanity. Just the fact that, okay, we're gonna create this Holes, like the novel and the movie Holes with Shia LaBeouf, where it's like, yeah, there's no guards, because there's nowhere to run. If you run, there's nowhere to hide, because it's, the fucking, it's Floridian fucking, like rainforest, the Everglades, like, it's an area that's not meant for human survival. And I remember when they were first getting it up and running, like, there was already issues with the sewage, and like there's just water overflowing, and like, there's unclean drinking water and stuff. Like, it's just it's horrible. And then they sent all these people to this gulag and fucking El Salvador. Like, it's really distressing stuff to see, man, and to hear about, and to think these poor people who did nothing, that were, and I'm sure that some people deserve to be in those places, but, honestly, I think most of those people were probably just trying to make a better life for themselves. I'm sorry if that sounds like a libtarded opinion, but I would put my money on that as opposed to the inverse, which is that they're all evil, rapists, insane fucking people. They're not sending their best. They're, these are people who came out of asylums because, fucking he doesn't know what an asylum seeker means. Something that I have to laugh at because it's so retarded, but it's just, also so sad at the same time that, such an elementary mistake has probably doomed so many people. Yeah, it's unreal. And all these jokes he's making about, you won't have to pay for the fucking, the Golden Dome defense system if you just become the 52nd state when referring to Canada, which is, not fucking cool. You don't make jokes about, annexing your fucking allies. I remember, I got some pissy comments for initially criticizing this type of talk from Trump when he first started introducing the tariffs, and people, just they're running off of ignorance, going, Canada? We don't even know you're there most of the time. We don't care about you. Fuck, why would we care about you? Oh, shit. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Why would we care about you? Why would we care about tariffs? You're the ones paying. It's okay, well, you guys clearly don't understand the notion of tariffs. I guess you'll figure that out sooner or later, I guess. But just flip the tables. What if we were to joke about invading the U.S. or something like that? I know everyone would laugh because there's no way that's going to happen. If the States did invade Canada, it's just tactically, it makes no sense. So they wouldn't be able to successfully, take control of Canada. At least not for a very long time, and I think it would just be endlessly problematic for them. But the U.S. still does have such a large military that I think it's larger than the next 13 militaries, the next 13 largest militaries combined. So we wouldn't stand much of a chance. But you just don't make jokes about that kind of thing, man. It's, it shows how puerile and, not mature fucking this administration is. And, I'm sure a lot of people are why do you care so much? You're a fucking Canadian, and if you guys are doing so well, why are you bitching? Why? Because I care about fucking all the people, whether you voted for this or not. All the people who are having to suffer under these iniquities while being overtly insulted. He has to, he will take away more, I get that. He was gunning for, I think, the behest of Elon Musk, he was gunning for people's social securities. And, to have that threat fucking dangled in the faces of people, and then for him to go, there's this Argentina leader, and he was doing a good thing with his country and with his market, and it didn't work out for him, and like he, like that is, I think, is that guy who tried to create a country where cryptocurrency was the currency. And I know Brazil tried the same thing. I think it didn't work out very well for them. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, I don't know much about the leader of the guy I was just talking about, fucking I think he was like an anarcho-capitalist or something. But yeah, to be, simultaneously saying all these derogative things about anything south of the border, and like wanting to war it out with Venezuela, and then like just bailing out a fucking South American country while fucking your own country is like in a fucking hell of a recession. Like the economy is, I think, the worst it's been ever, except for the market crash in the 20s that caused the Great Depression. But it doesn't matter. He'll find one way or another to blame it on fucking Biden or the Democrats or whatever the fuck. I think, there needs to be a monumental fucking paradigm shift in how things are going, or the world is just going to implode. And, a big reason I care is because, the States is, whether I like it or not, by virtue of their military existing, my country is not being invaded by, Chinese or Russian fucking foreign actors. I think they still do that regardless. They still spread misinformation within our country. They still pay Chinese families to go and start businesses that they know will fail, and then they subsidize the business, and when it does fail, it's owned by the Chinese government. Like that, stuff like that definitely happens, but the US being so large, they've also gotten away with like the majority of really ugly MK Ultra testing was done in Canada at the McGill University, on people who already had awful mental health disorders, like schizophrenia or really bad bipolar. They're being given like insane amounts of LSD and electroshock therapy and so on and so forth. Gladio, is it Operation Gladio or Project Gladio? I can't remember. Where John Jesus Allerton, who was the head of the CIA during the hottest months of the hottest years, I should say, of the Cold War. Really like the kind of stereotypical paranoid insomniac fucking CIA leader. That was John Jesus Allerton for you. But he paid right-wing extremists in Europe to basically run amok under this, Operation Gladio, Project Gladio, I can't remember which one it is. But, even though there's been no real information released on their involvement in Canada's political regimes, Canada is listed as a country where they were active. So, we also do deal with the consequences of U.S. hegemony. And U.S. hegemony is becoming more and more motivated by Israel. And, the United States is pretty accurately being called the United States of Israel these days, because so much of what's being done seems like it benefits Israelis more than it benefits U.S. citizens. which is a real fucking shame because, Netanyahu is a fucking monster, and he has this belief that his people are the chosen people, and that's why he refers to what he wants to happen to the Palestinians as the final solution, which, have you not learned anything from history, my guy? Fuck, your oppressors called the extermination of your people the final solution. What the fuck? But yeah, in any case, I think that Bibi knows that blackmail is how you run the world, and so I'm pretty sure he's got to have something on Trump, because Trump just bends the fuck over anytime he comes knocking. I know he had blackmail on Clinton. He had proof of Monica Lewinsky and Clinton's relationship. But they just mentioned that they had that. They never did anything with it because, the lid got blown on that anyways. But yeah, it's fucking disturbing, and, they're really making the world their stage there. And, I think that, the fact that now Trump is threatening to execute journalists, or not journalists, sorry, politicians, I believe it was Senate members or something, who were saying to soldiers, remember your oath, don't obey illegal orders, which is, there's nothing wrong with saying that. That is essentially just reminding them of their duty, because they take an oath. I don't know it verbatim, but it is something like, my oath is to the Constitution and to the people, not to any president or one person in power, something along those lines. And so you would think that people like Alex Jones would be foaming at the fucking mouth with Trump fucking unleashing the troops on the streets, because he would always, Operation Northwoods. I remember, Obama was planning on having troops do, 2,500 troops do a war game type, battle simulation outside of some rural town in Texas or something like that. And he was like, this is the start, people. This is the start. Martial law is going to be happening any day now. This is just practice. And now that is happening, he won't say a peep. He won't say a fucking word. All this stuff happens, the denial of the Epstein proof that says very plainly, over and over again, that Trump is a fucking a virile fucking sex pest who has a preference for barely legal fucking girls. There's troves of fucking proof that is the case. And Alex Jones, you can tell just from his expression, reading all the attempts to disavow those inherent truths, that his soul is going a little farther south when he dies with every lie he makes to try to fucking put a cap on the truth which is roaring out to be heard. And Trump fucking doesn't care about anyone in his base. He doesn't people think if I hung out with Trump, we'd have such a nice time. No, you wouldn't. He would hate almost everyone unless you are putting millions of dollars in his pocket, which is probably not even enough to bribe him now. Probably need more than that. He does not care about you. He does not like you. He probably thinks you're a burden on society, even though, what the fuck does he do for society? He will not be your buddy. He will be an obnoxious fucking person. It's Epstein said in his emails, if people only knew the monster he really is. Yeah. I mean, and, you know, I can only imagine the fucking suffering that people are going through in the States. And, you know, the fact that there's so little fucking media covering these things because all the big media networks are too scared to, or they are just fucking straight up relaying what Trump will allow to be said or to be heard, because, you know, they'll get their license fucking pulled by the FAA if they don't like it. And, you know, like, the spectacle they made out of Charlie Kirk's death is, like, insane. I mean, like, I don't feel bad for Charlie Kirk because, you know, he said victims of mass shootings are a consequence of us having the Second Amendment. So, you know, you live and you learn, dude, I guess. But, you know, I do feel bad for his daughter, having seen her father get his fucking, you know, his carotid artery blasted right the fuck open. But, I mean, I still, at the same time, I think a 30-06 bullet should have taken his fucking head off. Not just, like, made a little bit of blood spray out. And then there are other things in that case that just don't make any fucking sense. You know, I think there's probably an Israeli fucking hit job. But what do I know? What do I know? Fucking. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't think Charlie Kirk deserved to die, but, you know, Trump certainly didn't care, and his wife is, like, fucking over the moon that this happened. Now she's in the spotlight, now she's, like, flirting with Vance at his funeral, and, like that funeral was so eerie, like, where, you know, like, it was like a declaration of war against the radical left, and, you know, basically a declaration of we're going to falsify as much evidence as we can to create this invisible enemy. But it didn't really work because no one bought it because it's bullshit. You know, like there's that guy who shot up the fucking ICE facility and killed 2 detainees. And then when what looked like ballpoint pen or some shit wrote anti-ICE on the bullets. Yeah, sure. Okay, if that's the case, why didn't he shoot the fucking ICE agents, the guards? Why didn't he do that? Why did he shoot the detainees? Doesn't make any sense. But, you know, for some reason, the right wing really wants fucking blood, so they fucking turn on each other, and, you know, it is just spiraling. Like, I don't know how we're gonna get through the next fucking few years, and, you know, I just feel tremendously bad for all those who are suffering in silence. You know, especially those who didn't want this. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. I'm gonna upload this. I gotta fucking toss you guys a bone. I'm sorry if you think my videos are now just, oh, Orange Man bad type rhetoric, but yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to see the world fucking end because of this greedy, delusional motherfucker. Like, you know, he's saying that North Sea or whatever has enough oil for the next fucking 1,000 years. But data is showing that over the last, like, 30 years or whatever, they've potentially mined like up to 80% of it. Like it's going at a rate much faster than analysts thought. And oil is a finite resource. We don't have very much of it. And, you know, we don't have any other sustainable fucking means of powering the industries we require to survive at this point. You know, certainly not with clean energy, certainly not with fucking, you know, solar panels, fucking windmills, fucking, certainly not with lithium batteries. Lithium batteries are tremendously corrosive to soil to mine lithium, and just tremendously bad for the people mining it. And like the corrosion that it causes in the soil, like it almost seems like a nuclear event has happened in that region, because it's just dead, and nothing will grow in areas where lithium has been mined. And even though Elon Musk has hinted at having the technology and the ability to pay for the technology required to make lithium batteries rechargeable, he's just refusing to do it because people would, he would make a little bit less money. And I mean, he has got far more money than anyone would ever need. $1 trillion. $1 trillion fucking dollars. Like, this is unbelievable, man. Like, it is so insanely greedy and deplorable to fucking put all these burdens onto the shoulders of, our children, our grandchildren, etc. Like, I remember hearing a low estimate for oil running out, 2050, but, it'll probably be a little bit longer than that. But, the state of the planet by then is going to be pretty ugly, man. And, if you don't believe in climate change, if you don't believe that man can adversely affect the planet, please tell me why. I gotta hear this from from the horse's mouth for myself, because it's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. When I see gasoline in water, and I see it starting to fracture apart, and it almost gives off this kind of resplendent sheen that's almost beautiful, until I realize, oh, that's fucking petroleum in the water. You can just tell that it's fucking awful to fucking release that back into the wild. We're trying to build another pipeline in Canada, which I think is just a bad idea, and it'd be a travesty, violating so many fucking, tribal agreements and stuff that we've come to with indigenous nations. It's a shame. I was hoping by this time, when I was a teenager, we would be figuring things out. We would be we would have moon bases and shit, but it's such a joke, so I can only imagine where we're going to be in 25 years. If I believe in anything, it's, that most of the time there's a big catastrophe or a big controversy, and, the worst of what could happen is being constantly reaffirmed again and again and again by the media to keep people in a perpetual state of fear. Usually the wave of whatever that event is reaches a certain point, and then it flows back. But yeah, so basically nothing happens. So most of the time, nothing happens whenever there's an alarmist sort of mentality on something or another. Usually nothing happens. That's my hope. But also, as someone slanted towards pessimism, I believe when nothing happens, usually the worst happens. And I really hope that's not the case. But, anyways, this has gone on long enough. Much love to fucking my brothers, my sisters, my fellow guppies and germs out there. I hope that the way things go in the world doesn't prove that humanity is a parasitic scum, but right now we're not doing ourselves any favors, are we? Anyways, bye-bye.